From WFRV TV Local 5, Green Bay, Fox Cities, and the Lakeshore, this is Newsmaker Sunday.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zalaski. Something that parents in search of childcare want more than anything, making sure their child is okay and that they're being well taken care of. And this morning we have two child care experts who can help us with that here in Northeast Wisconsin. Joining us this morning, Amanda Jolitz, an early education advocate for child care resources out of Kimberly, and Bob Peckel, the business child advocate for family and child care resources of Northeast Wisconsin here in Green Bay. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Much appreciated. Let me start out by asking each of you, in no particular order, your organizations. What specifically does your organization do, and what's your mission?
So, Child Care Resource and Referral in Kimberly, basically our role is to be able to offer free referrals to families that are searching in need of child care. And we also support teachers that are working in the field by offering training and sometimes on-site consultation to work through a variety of different things that they might need. So whether it's child guidance techniques or being able to help with curriculum planning, a wide variety of things that we work with.
Yeah. Bob, your role, what do you do?
So our agency, we do everything that she does, but we are also a family resource referral agency. So our agency, not only do we offer support and technical consultation to our child care providers and our teachers, we also offer parenting classes to our parents and support groups for our families within the community. So our mission statement is that we support anyone who takes care of children. So anyone being a parent or a child care provider.
Tell me how this child care business evolved over the years, because in the past, there was no such thing as child care as we know it today. One parent worked, one parent stayed home, and apparently in society over the years there came this need for child care. What happened out there?
Well, the big thing that happened is that everybody started to work, and you can't leave your kids at home alone. So they have to go somewhere, and that created a need for, well, who's going to watch my children? Which then created a bigger need of, well, other people need this as well. So that started the idea of a group child care center, the idea of you take your kid and essentially drop them off at school, right? You take them to an off-site place and they go there to receive care. There's also family child care where there are providers who, instead of working at a building or a separate site, they work in their home. And they also take care of people in the community there as well.
So as a parent, what can you specifically do for me when it comes to my child care needs?
Well, we can do a variety of things. I think, like I said, first and foremost is we can offer free referrals to regulated child care programs in our service delivery area. So we both service different areas. Here at Child Care Resource and Referral in Kimberly, we service 5 counties for referrals. And we also offer information on how to choose childcare. We have average childcare rates posted on our website, so you can know basically what to budget for childcare. But I think the biggest thing is just being able to offer those referrals based on the criteria, whether it be if you want a childcare that's close to your where you live, where you work, if you like family childcare versus group centers. There's a wide variety out there, and we're just hoping to help you make the match.
Yeah, what's out there? What are the types of childcare available to parents?
So, as I had mentioned before, there's the group setting where you have teachers working in different classrooms. You also have the family childcare setting where the childcare takes place within the home of the children, or the home of a parent or someone who is qualified as a child care professional.
How important is child care to working families? I mean, I imagine if it weren't for child care, that 2-income family is a 1-income family. You don't have a choice.
Right. Well, historically, women have been the ones to care for the children inside the home, and now what we found is that a lot of times, whether it is breeds out of necessity or just their want or desire to work outside the home, we see a lot of women going into the workforce. And if they don't have reliable and high quality childcare, then that takes a whole big population of the workforce away from potential employers.
Speaking of that, the big population you take out, how much of an impact does childcare have economically on our society?
Oh gosh, that is the question.
Yeah.
It is the driving force of the workforce. I mean, it is instrumental to being able to allow people to work outside of their homes. So it's kind of like the backbone. One can't exist without the other.
And another thing that happens too is it's not just mom has to stay home or dad has to stay home from work. Is now grandma and grandpa, or grandma or grandpa, will have to stay home from work as well because their son or daughter, they just had a baby and they're excited for the grandchild. Now grandma or grandpa, they might retire early and stay home and watch that child. And now within the workforce, you're losing that higher level experience and that level of tenure within your workforce, and therefore you have more turnover within the workforce.
We are back with much more after this, so please stay with us. Back now with Amanda Jolitz and Bob Peckel talking about childcare in Northeast Wisconsin. I want to throw a figure at you here. The Economic Policy Institute says the average annual cost for childcare for an infant in Wisconsin, $12,567. A lot of money. What are you hearing from families? How are they able to come up with that kind of money? That's just for one infant.
I know, that's more than people pay for a four-year university, an annual admission to a four-year university. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's oftentimes more expensive than families can afford. And I think that really speaks to the broken business model. It's not like the child care programs are making all of this money. What it really comes down to is the forced ratios of child care. So you brought up infants. And the way that it works in the group center is that one teacher can take care of 4 infants. So when you factor in all of the overhead costs of food and building supplies, the lease or the rent of the building, the child care teachers are not making much more than say minimum wage in some cases. So it's broken. It's too expensive for parents to be able to afford, and it doesn't pay enough for teachers to want to stay.
Yeah, you say broken, too expensive, doesn't pay enough. You have a worker shortage.
We do.
Yes.
And is it because of what we just talked about here? Just not enough pay?
That's one big aspect of it, and unfortunately it hasn't changed in that regard. The other thing that happened was we had the COVID-19 pandemic where everything shut down, businesses shut down, schools shut down, childcare did not. So the families that were still working, be it if they were working from home or trying to figure out how to work, the childcare centers and the family providers were still open, And because they understood this is a service, this is a human service that we absolutely need. It is critical to it is the backbone of our industry. And as a result of that, you had teachers that were working double overtime, triple overtime, and it's hard. You get burned out after a while taking care of children. It's a very rewarding job, but it can also be very taxing, and it gets to you after a while.
Are there any state, federal grants out there that can help people?
There actually is right now. Yep. So the Department of Children and Families is helping with child care counts. So basically any regulated program has the ability to apply for these funds on a monthly basis, and they're really honestly helping programs survive at this point. And they are guaranteed for about, I don't know, about 12 more months, 13 more months till the end of the 2023. But after that, that's what they call the child care counts cliff, is basically programs that have been relying on this money, on these monthly this monthly income. They don't know if they're going to be able to exist after it. So that's one of the things one of the answers that DCF has been able to allow for programs. Another grant that's being offered right now through the Department of Children and Families is called the Dream Up Grant. So selected areas have been awarded a $75,000 strategic planning grant to be able to address the issues of accessibility and affordability of childcare. And I'd like Bob to speak a little bit more to Partner Up.
And there's another grant, yes, called Partner Up. So Partner Up and Dream Up are part of a program called Project Growth to address the childcare crisis within the state of Wisconsin. So Dream Up is very focused on the communities, whereas Partner Up is focused on the business. And essentially with Partner Up, what businesses can do is through this grant, this grant is able to give businesses and businesses the ability to offer childcare as a benefit to their employees at very little cost to the business and at zero cost to the employees. So this business, for example, they would offer a 401k, they could offer their paid time off, and then they could offer childcare as well to strengthen the workforce, to get people back into the workforce.
Mm-hmm. So for as temporary as this money may be, I take it you see it as money well spent right now.
Money extremely well spent. And I think that what it really is helping us to do is to raise awareness for childcare, to be a part of long-term fiscal planning for our state. Really to think about childcare as a way for parents to be able to continue to work in the workforce and to be able to bring that to the communities. So we're hoping that it would be included, more money would be included in our state budget.
We are talking childcare this morning, so please stay with us. Back now with Amanda Jolitz and Bob Peckel talking about child care in Northeast Wisconsin. Early education for kids and learning social skills. How important is that?
Oh, I think it's huge, and especially now, what we see is that children rely so much on the space of early care and education to be able to practice social skills. And one of the things that early care and education offers is teachers who have the training to be able to address those social skills. So, how to be a friend, how to be able to self-regulate, how to be able to approach conflict. Those are all skills that children learn at a very early age that actually propel them through their adult life. I mean, if we think about an adult who's never learned conflict resolution, or an adult who's never learned how to regulate their emotions, that can be extremely catastrophic.
So, yeah, so daycare is not a place where we dump off our kids and they play with blocks all day.
No. No, I think that it's way past that. And that's where we are really trying to support and uplift our early childhood educators, that they are educators. They're not babysitters. They're not daycare workers. They are educators, just like any other educator that we look at where our children learn skills.
And this is an important part of the child's brain development as well, true?
Yes, absolutely. And if you were to ask any kindergarten teacher the question of, would you rather that a child coming into kindergarten know their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, or would you rather have them be able to play well with other kids and get along with their teachers, they would say the latter.
I don't know if Hillary Clinton coined the phrase, but it does take a village to raise a child, does it not? Not just
It
daycare,
does.
but also the family at home.
It does, and I think that one of the programs that our agency is working with right now through the Child Abuse, Neglect, and Prevention Board is to be able to offer it's a course called Positive Solutions for Families. So what that is allowing parents the opportunities, the same opportunities that the teachers have, the educators have, on learning how to teach their children these social skills when they're birth through 5. So regulation, self-regulation, friendship skills, conflict resolution, all of those things that I was talking about. The Positive Solutions for Families is creating that shared language between the educator and the parent in addressing the way that their children learn these at an early age. And so we're kind of excited about that.
Yeah. So child care doesn't mean you educate my kids during the day and I work during the day and then that's it. What is the parent's responsibility once that day ends and the kid is back home and the parent is back home from work? Where does the parent pick up here? What is their responsibility?
One of the sayings that's within the child care field is that the first teacher to a child is their parent. Yeah. And so it's important for the parent to continue those, working those conflict resolution skills, working those social skills, those learning how to be a friend skills, and be able to also do those things as well.
Okay, so a 1 or 2 or 3-year-old can't come home from daycare and tell mom and dad what they learned today. So how do parents know what the kid learned and what they're supposed to be picking up on and what they're supposed to be continuing, in the home?
So I really think that's the relationship between the educator and the parent. Yeah. And it's unique, right? Because at birth through 5, the educators and the parents, they have that ongoing, they see each other every day. It's not like in the K through 12 system, either the bus or sometimes the parent drops their child off at the outside of the school and the child goes in and they might see their child's teacher twice a year at parent-teacher conferences. In early child care and education, the parents are seeing their child's teacher every single day, more often than not. And so a relationship starts to develop, and the communication between the educator and the parent is instrumental to the development of their child. And it is through that relationship where the educator is going to be able to bring along the parent and help them understand, okay, here's what you can do at home. This is what your child will need or what will benefit your child at home, and give them the skills and the tools to be able to continue that, not just through the evening hours, but through that child's life.
Mm-hmm. And unlike the twice-a-year parent-teacher conference, with this situation with childcare, seeing them every day, if an issue does come up, you can address it right there and not wait for the 4 or 5 months until parent-teacher conference.
Exactly. Toot sweet, right? It's all about being able to be Johnny on the spot. And because I think that the more you address the issues, or if issues arise, the quicker you address those issues, the less discrepancy comes between where they could be and where they are.
We are back to wrap up after this, so please stay right there. Back now with Amanda Jolis and Bob Peckel talking about childcare in Northeast Wisconsin. What do you say to parents who may have a sense of guilt of leaving their kid with somebody else? How can you ease that pain, so to speak?
I would say you're not leaving them with complete. I mean, you're not leaving them with someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're more likely to be educated. They're very qualified, have gone through a lot of training, and have a lot of experience raising children. And they're also more likely than not, they're doing it 4 times, 5 times, 6 times because they had a whole classroom, be it if they're in a group setting or in a family childcare setting.
So Amanda, when I'm a parent looking for a childcare facility, should I visit? Do I ask questions? What do I need to do before I put my child there?
Oh, that is a good question. So at our agency, we actually have a sheet, like a one-page sheet for parents that are looking for childcare, that are recommendations on what to do when you're looking. Definitely tour a childcare program, and you use all of your senses to determine, well, is this someplace where that sounds nice? Are the teachers happy? Are they using play-based interactions to be able to work with the children and teach them new skills? Does it look nice? Is it something that really, is it clean? Is it full of toys that are accessible to the children? So definitely tour. Ask questions too. Don't be afraid or hesitant to be able to have a list of questions prepared, but then think about questions on site too. And then call. I mean, if you're dropping your child off and you have any kind of worries or apprehensions about how they're doing or how their drop-off was, call the center. Most teachers and most directors are going to be very happy to address those.
All right, I've got about a minute left here. I'm a parent. I've made the decision with my wife. We need to put our kid into childcare. What's the first thing I do?
Call our agencies.
Yeah,
I
call our
mean,
agencies.
that's a big thing is because there are wait lists that are like a year long right now.
Really?
Yes, and we are telling people that as soon as if you are getting pregnant, find out you're pregnant, call our agencies and get on these wait lists.
All right, so how do we get a hold of you?
For us, you can visit our website at ccrrfoxvalley.org, and our phone number is 920-886-1211.
And you can visit our website at www.fcrnew.org to find our information there.
All right, good information, Amanda. Bob, thanks very much for being with us this morning.
I really appreciate the attention you were bringing.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And if you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Do that by sending us an email at tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Until then, have a great day.